So a little while ago, I ended up creating two videos. I think it was two about the articles that I wrote about the Arrow series. And this is another article that I wrote, and it is titled "The Only Way Out is Through." And this is what I said. A few days ago, I wrote an article about something I had heard from a TV series called Arrow. What I touched upon in this article was not the only thing in this show that has caught my attention. There are a number of other things. Something that caught my attention was when the main character, Oliver Queen, was told that the only way out is through. Without giving too much away, in case you haven't seen this episode and plan to, he is in a tough situation and needs to find a way out. There is not just what is going on externally, though. There is also what is taking place internally. In this situation, as in most of his situations, his biggest challenge is to overcome what is taking place within him. He needs to let go of something that he is carrying from the past, and if he doesn't, he will probably die. Not only this, a number of other people could also experience the same fate. This line, something that was originally said by the American poet Robert Frost, was something I had heard before. Yet, thanks to the idea I had formed about Arrow, I was surprised to hear it. However, this is not to say that I saw Arrow as a mindless show that was just full of action and violence up until this point. Far from it. Additionally, Oliver was told that he needed to forgive himself, which was another great piece of advice. In order for Oliver to let go of what was going on for him and to move on, he needed to face his pain or darkness. Running away from and trying to avoid what was taking place within him wouldn't have allowed him to do this. The only thing that this would do is cause him to carry his baggage around with him. This baggage would continue to cause him inner and outer problems. In other words, what he is holding on to would contaminate just about every part of his life and prevent him from being able to do what is necessary. If he was to run away from himself, he would be exercising his masculine aspect. This part of him might allow him to deal with the bad people, but it won't allow him to deal with his inner baggage. For this to happen, he will need to embrace his feminine aspect, as this will allow him to surrender to what is going on inside himself. Force and willpower, abilities of the masculinized mind, won't be needed here. His mind might not understand how embracing what is going on inside himself will allow him to move forward. To this part of him, this can be seen as something that will only take place if something is done. It will be all about the doing. When he surrenders to how he feels and embraces what is going on, he won't need to do anything. It will be all about the being. This can be a time when he will be acknowledging the parts of himself that he hasn't wanted to face, and maybe he will need to grieve certain losses. By being present with what is going on internally, the negativity within him will gradually change its expression. Some of it may become positive, and some of it may just become neutral. What this comes down to is that, inherently, there is no such thing as negative and positive energy. These are just labels that the dualistic ego mind comes up with. Therefore, once something painful has been acknowledged and worked through, this energy will have been transmuted, not removed. This approach is not something that the self-development world has embraced, let alone mainstream society. In general, the way through is seen as being around or over. If someone does surrender to how they feel, they can be seen as wallowing and allowing themselves to bathe in their own negativity. Lastly, Lian Yu. The island where Oliver hears the above line is said to be based in Asia, a part of the world that is often seen as being more about the being than the doing, which can be seen as a reason why he heard these words there. Along with the saying, the only way out is through, it is also said that the only way out is in. And this is because if external challenges are a reflection of what is going on internally, and let's say that someone feels as though they're in a prison, then the way for them to get out of that prison is to change what is going on internally that has created and is sustaining that prison. Another way of looking at this would be to say that if they are in a prison, the key that will allow them to get out of this prison is on the inside. So if you can relate to this, if you are going through a challenging time, or perhaps you have been in a situation that has lasted for a very long time and this has been wearing you down and you feel like you are trapped, then working on dealing with, or should I say surrendering to what is going on within and working through your pain will allow you to change what is going on externally. You will be going within and your external world will change. This doesn't mean that it will happen overnight. It could be something that takes many months of working through layers and layers of pain, but through changing your inner world, over time your external world will change. And you may need external support, at least in the beginning, to work through this pain. But the main thing is that you don't suffer in silence and you do what you need to do to gradually change your life. If you'd like to find out more about the services that I offer, please go to www.oliverjrcooper.co.uk or email me at info@oliverjrcooper.co.uk, and I'm looking forward to assisting you on your journey.